I just caught my first tube today, sir. No? I am an FBI agent. No? Okay. Well, if you don't recognize those lines, then you probably never saw the 1991 Catherine Bigelow film Point Break, which starred Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. Now, in that film, it was about a FBI agent who must infiltrate a gang of surfers who are also notorious bank robbers in Southern California. Now, 91 Point Break was, for some, a guilty pleasure, and others a quintessential, monumental, stylish, thrilling action movie. For me, it's somewhere in the middle of being a guilty pleasure and a great action film. I found it highly enjoyable, maybe a little far-fetched, but still entertaining nonetheless. Now, it's been, 91, 2001? It's been over 20 years since Point Break 91. So, a whole generation has never heard of Johnny Utah and Bodie. Time for a remake. So that's basically where we're at. It's 2015, and here we are with Point Break 2015. A lot of people pretty much said, what's the point of doing a remake of this movie? I could totally understand them doing a remake. It's been more than 20 years since the last film, and a lot of advances in extreme sports since then, whereas the original more focused on surfing. The new Point Break really embraces extreme sports and really runs the gamut on what's popular about extreme sports, from snowboarding to motocross, surfing, paragliding, free jumping, free climbing, you name it. The new Point Break brings that all into the fold. So, you're going to remake what to some people is a classic film. And the only reason to remake a movie like that would be to try and make some improvements. Now, again, I mentioned that the new one embraces the whole new extreme sports and all the avenues that extreme sports take, which I thought was really cool. But everything else was not so cool because you just didn't buy into it. The film stars Luke Bracey as Johnny Utah and Edgar Ramirez as Bodie. And if you've seen the original, this one stars Ray Winston as Angelo Pappas, who was played by Gary Busey in the original. And Delroy Lindo is the FBI instructor who brings Utah on board, who was played magnificently by John C. McGinley. That's who it was in the original Point Break. So, if you're familiar with the original Point Break, if you've seen the original Point Break, you're probably not going to like this version too much. But if you've never seen the original Point Break, you might find things to appreciate about this one. You might find it a little more interesting. But the problem is it's not as engaging or as stylishly shot as the original. There are a lot of great action sequences in here, a lot of fantastic stunt sequences, but they're not dynamically or engagingly shot. They're shot in a very derivative fashion that you've seen on like ESPN or something like that. That you really can't appreciate a lot of the footage that they got, as it's hard to tell if some of the stuff is actually shot live or if it's just CGI. So you never get the sense of that. And for example, there's obviously a scene. It's in the trailer, so it's not spoiling anything, where they're riding their bikes and they got to outrace an avalanche of, not an avalanche of snow, but a mountain avalanche. So they're boulders just rolling down, and they're trying to avoid, obviously that's CG. And then there's a surfing sequence in the beginning of the film, which looks impressive, but again, it looks CG. You don't get the sense that this is real. But then there's another sequence where they're wearing wingsuits, which is quite visceral and exciting because this looks like legitimate stuff. But again, you're wondering, is this actually CG or did they shoot this live? You don't get, because of the way it's shot, you don't get that sense that this is actually happening. and you're not getting the full sense of the danger that they're putting themselves in. Now, in the original, basically, Johnny Utah had to go after these guys and infiltrate them and catch on to their adrenaline rush, because they were just adrenaline junkies, and he wanted to join the fray. But in this one, the group is pursuing what is known as the Osaka 8, and they're basically each is a a challenge or rite of passage that a person must go through in order to honor nature. So these events give them the Osaka 8 gives them the reason to go global and just pursue all sorts of crazy stunt work. But again, overall, it doesn't work well enough, because you'll recognize beats from the original, and for me, without giving anything away, it really came to a head in the conclusion. Now, if you've seen the original, you know how it ends, the remake kind of goes in the same direction, but you just don't have the same feeling. It doesn't have the same weight or impact that the original had. It's, instead of seeing the scene as it is, you're just seeing a scene, oh yeah, they're just redoing the ending, big deal. And unfortunately, that's not how you want it to end that way. So that there's just like no investment, and that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, overall, I liked a little bit here and there, and I liked some of the stuff that they did, but it just wasn't as good, and it's not in the same league as the film that it was remaking. So I would give Point Break 2015 a 5 out of 10. But it's an average action movie, nothing special, but it's pretty much forgettable. Especially if you've seen the original and love the original, you're just gonna forget about this one. But if you've never seen the original, you'll find it might just be an average action movie, and that's about it. So, have you heard about this remake of Point Break? Have you seen the original Point Break? And what do you think about the idea of remaking it? Have you seen the remake yet? And what were your thoughts, and how did it compare? So I'd like to hear in the comments below. If you like my review, please hit that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do, so you can stay on top of my reviews as they come in. Until next time, surf's up, dude.